Okay, uh, just about ready to get started. All right, here we go. New tshuvas. Natan mixer letechnoi letakein v'nignav mimenu. Person gave his mixer, I guess his what is that thing my mother-in-law always uses?
The big expensive.
Yeah, the expensive one. What is it called? Yeah, what's it called?
Bread machine?
No. The one with the hook. Can you make the bread with it? Okay, Moish, that's your business. You should know. Okay.
I always say the less you know, the more you sell.
Yeah. I gave a mixer to a technician to fix, and it got stolen from his shop. Okay. So, natati letechnoi letaken li mixer v'sikamnu al sach shel meyu shmonim shekel avur hatikun. I gave a technician, a guy who has a shop where he fixes appliances. My mixer is broken. So we set up that I was going to pay him 180 shekels to fix my mixer. La'achar shegamar letaken et mixer, hatechnoi hitkasher elai bichdei she'avo lakachet et mixer. So he finishes it, calls me up, says, your mixer is ready for pickup. Balayla nifritza hachanut v'ganvulo ben hashar et mixer. So that night, robbers broke into the guy's shop and stole a bunch of stuff, including my mixer. Ha'imhu chayav l'shalim li al mixer. Does he have to pay for it? Ve'imhu lo chayav, and if he's not obligated, ha'imani chayav l'shalim lo meya u'shmonim shekel avor hatikun shelo neheneti mimenu. Do I have to pay him for the repair? He told me that it's ready for pickup. I said, I'll be there tomorrow. That night, before I could pick it up, it gets stolen. Now he's fixed it. He tells me what I owe him. And now what is he, a shomer chinam or a shomer sachar? The technician. You'd think he's well?
He's paying. The guy is putting the goods by him. He's paying him for it.
He's paying him for not only fixably. The question is he paying him just to fix it?
He's paying to fix it.
But he's also responsible for watching it. That's part of the fee, isn't it? Would you say that's part of the cost of fixing the thing? Is that just like when you leave something at the dry cleaner, we talked about this.
Dry cleaner has a note on the bottom.
Right. So we said the dry cleaner can put a note saying not responsible for theft or loss, or any items not claimed after 30 days are considered to be forfeited, or either whatever contract is stipulated.
Parking lots do that too.
Yeah. So is this fellow, let's assume the technician didn't have anything written on the contract, on the invoice that he presented at the time when the guy dropped off his mixer. Okay, so is he a shomer chinam or a shomer sachar?
The transition, once his work's finished and he says to come and pick it up, he becomes a shomer chinam after that.
Is he a shomer chinam after that fact? Is that what you want to argue, Barry?
Because he's getting paid for the work he's done. He's not getting paid for gardening, he's getting paid for the work he's done. So that because he's getting paid that makes him.
So you're saying that up until he fixed it, he's a shomer sachar, and then after he fixes it, he should revert to a shomer chinam?
The money he owes is now it's now worth something.
All right, let's take a look and see what the tshuva says. HaMishnah omeretz kol ha'umnim shomrei sachar hein li'itchayev b'gnei v'aveda. So the Mishnah is quite explicit. If you're an artisan and your job is to take product that belongs to somebody else and repair it, then you are a shomer sachar, because you're being compensated not only to handle that appliance or that object, but part of the payment is you're going to watch over it as well. And even though the payment is not for the watching it, it's for the fixing it. The money that you're receiving for your work is also considered to be part of, applies to your obligation to watch over it. אבל במקרה הזה, שהטכנאי התקשר שהמיקסר מוכן כדי שיבוא לקחתו. But here there's a little bit of a twist, because the technician has already contacted the owner to let him know that the mixer is ready for pickup. Talui hadavar be'izel lashon amar lokein. Now it will depend on what language he used to tell him his mixer is ready for pickup. I'm already unhappy about where this is going. Okay, so let's see. Im amar lo bo kachas hamikzer umatai shata rotzet tishalem. If he tells him, come pick up your mixer whenever you want to pay, you can pay. Yesh lo din shomer chinam. So like Barry said, at that point, he's now a shomer chinam, because now he's no longer, the contract is now over as far as his work period. Shepater migneva vaveda kolzman shelo pasha bishmira. And therefore the technician is pater from gneva vaveda so long as he has not been negligent. In other words, if he left the back door of the store open, so then he'd be liable, because that's pshia. But if he locked like he was supposed to do, he did everything that he was supposed to do as a normal person would, so then there was no pshia. Aval imhu amar lo taviyat tashlum ve'achar kach etein lachat hamikser yesh lo din shomer sachar kevin shu yitchaven la'akev et hachefetz avur scharo. Then he's got the din of a shomer sachar. Why? Because he's not prepared to surrender the mixer until the guy gives him the cash. So it all depends on the way that the deal was made. And that's really quite fascinating, that it's all a question of attitude. In other words, if the technician tells him, what he's saying is, listen, my job is done. Come and pick up. The mixer's ready for you. I'm just keeping it here in the store for you. You come pick it up when you're ready. And the guy says, well, I won't get my paycheck until next week. And the guy says, no problem. Just come and pick it up. And next week you can pay me. I trust you. Okay, so if that's the attitude, so then he's a shomer chinam, because I'm now basically doing you a favor by holding your mixer. If, however, the attitude is cash, it's cash and carry, you come with a check or with cash, and then I'll give you the mixer. So then I'm still a shomer sachar, because I'm expecting payment for, I'm not releasing until I get the cash.
Rabbi, and in fact, what you have here too is your classic auto repair shop. Your mechanic has a deal like that too, but once he's finished the repair, it's usually built into the contract of bailment or whatever that if you don't pick it up right away, it continues and I get to store it or have a lien over it, right? So you have to pay me in addition. So it gets more complicated.
Right. So yeah. So I'm like, yeah. So if especially if I'm taking space in your shop and I'm doing you, so it all depends. Here, let's see. If a guy says, I'm going to charge you for every day that you don't pick it up, so then he's clearly a shomer sachar. If he says, do me a favor, I got my shop is crammed with a bunch of stuff that I don't have space to store your mixer. Do me a favor, pick it up as quickly as you can, So then he's basically doing the guy a favor by storing it. So it all depends on the way that it was contracted. Okay. All right. There is a logic to it for sure, but how are you supposed to know? So he says, in this kind of situation, he says there's no way to hold the technician liable for the theft. He says because he was watching it, he was storing it in his store. And the person who leaves the item in his shop is full aware that the guy is leaving it in his store, is locking the store at night, and he knows exactly the level of guardianship. Like, in other words, there are some stores that have bars on the windows, other stores that don't have bars on the windows. Some stores have those metal things that you pull down, the shutters, and others don't, right? And so when you dropped off your mixer, you saw exactly the conditions of how the guy was going to be storing your mixer. You can't come with recriminations later and say, hey, why didn't you have bars on your windows? It's your fault. So, you can't say that. So the technician is going to be exempt for the payment of the mixer because he basically said, come and pick it up. And this is certainly true if it was completely out of his control, meaning there was clearly nothing he could have done. The guys broke in, demolished a wall or something, whatever, that he's going to be exempt from payment. Now, is that the end of the tshuva? Well, let's take a look at the footnote. First of all, Kain Pasak Maran b'Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch paskins the same thing, that it all depends on the way that the contract was arranged with the customer. Ubir Hasma Sham, the Sma explains, the Hainu Taimadim Amarlo Have Maos Betulat Shalach. He says, if the technician says it's cash and carry, when you come to pay, then you can pick up your mixer. Gila Daito Shu wrote he's basically demonstrating that he's going to be holding on to the appliance until he gets his payment. Whereas if he simply said, come pick it up, your item's ready, then that shows he doesn't mind. Just pick it up, I want it out of my store, right? And then you'll pay me whenever you pay me. From the moment that he says that, he's no longer a shomer sacher, he's a shomer chinam. So if you're a store owner, or anytime you're holding someone else's object and they're paying you for it, you'd be wise to know this halacha, right? If you tell the person, come pick it up, it's ready, and you don't tell them you have to pay in order to pick it up, so then you automatically revert to a shomer chinam, so you're protecting yourself. And then furthermore, he says, Zehu al pi mashakosov b'shut maharshach, itzin elav hashach, the shahamafkid ra'at makom shmirat piktono b'shatak. He says, any time a person leaves an object for safekeeping with a person, sees the conditions of where the item is going to be stored, and says nothing, hareze ki'ilu hitna hashomer leheja shekachti hashmira shel hachefetz v'alkein patur ag kan tochen debarav. That it's almost implicit that the shomer negotiated and accepted the fact that this is the way it's going to be watched and protected, and therefore he cannot claim later that there was any negligence. This is something that we discussed already in Siman Pei Beis. How far away was that? And he says, and I refer you to what I wrote there in the footnote. Okay, I don't remember that.
The owner of the mixer has no obligation for the $100.
Well, we haven't answered that question yet. We haven't gotten there yet.
So Rabbi, if someone takes something into a repair shop,
Yeah,
even if they look at the repair shop and understand that it's a secure place to their satisfaction, there's an expectation you're going to pay for the repair, even if the person doesn't say it's $118 or whatever the value is when they cook it up. So isn't that already keeping you're not going to pick it up and just walk away with it. You're going to have to pay for it at some stage. Whether you pay for it that day or whether you pay for it at the end of the week. You've entered into a contract consciously.
Right. I would say that in most cases, it's implicit that you can't get your appliance back until you pay.
Right.
But I could definitely imagine if you're dealing with a mom and pop operation, especially in Israel, and
Sure.
you know,
They give you a week to pay. or
Pay me
a month
next
to
week
pay.
or next month.
pay me next week. Just come pick it up. I don't want it in my shop. You need the mixer. What's it called? Did you
Mix
pick
master.
Mix Master? You sure that's what it's called?
Did you look it up?
Yeah.
I thought there's another name. There's
That's the
another.
brand of the ones that they use for baking. Like
Could be a
3/4
food processor.
no, but that's.
No,
what it
no, no.
is.
That's something else.
It's not
No,
mix master.
no,
They're using our mix
You're
master.
not thinking of a Kenwood. That's the American mixer.
Let me ask my wife. This is going to bother me.
Rob, I'm looking at a certain parallel here with when you're dealing with an airline and you give them your luggage. And they're,
They lose it.
yeah, because they're showing, when you pay for it, for checking a bag, you pay for it.
Yeah, well, they are. I mean,
They're responsible.
there is a contract that the airline makes with every passenger that they're going to be responsible. I think that's implicit in the.
You have reached.
She's baking.
Yeah, not at this hour. Okay,
Our mix master.
okay. I think there's a different name that I'm thinking of. Okay.
That's in the contract, it's automatic.
Oh,
So
so
obviously this doesn't apply today.
I think it all depends on who you're dealing with. Like I'll give you an example. Like my wife goes regularly to a dry cleaner, and it's understood that she pays when she picks up the items. But they know her so well by now that if she were to tell them, "Oh, I forgot my credit card. I don't have my purse with me," they would probably tell her, you know, "You've been coming here for years. We know you already."
Come back.
Yeah. I think it all depends on the it is a subjective issue, and that's the problem, is that it's not going to be one size fits all.
The problem with dry cleaners is when they ruin something. I deal with that sometimes. And then whose fault is it?
Right, right.
Or if they can't get the stain out, do you pay for it?
That's another interesting shaila. I think that's also, there is a, do you have to pay? Here, let's see, pay bays.
The gas cylinder outside.
It was what?
The gas cylinder sitting outside, it got stolen.
No, but it would belong to the
Yeah.
landowner or the landlord or the guy who's renting it out.
Yeah, the gas, what did we call them? Those gas, Canisters.
Yes.
Dude.
well, yeah, the gas canisters. Right. In other words, once the landlord leaves the canisters outside,
Right.
he's accepted the fact that that's the way they're going to be watched. He can't later explain, hey, you know, you shouldn't have left them on. So, right. Okay. That was the shaila that we dealt with. Now, let's go on. So he says, "Ulagabe hashe'ela," and as far as the question, "Hayim chayav l'shalim lo atameu shmonim shekel," is that right? So Hal's question. So what does the guy have to pay the 180 shekel or not for the repair? Demei hatikun shel mixer afal pi shelo nehena mitikun mixer. He never benefited from the mixer's repair. Pashat shetzarach l'shalim technoi atameu shmonim shekel. He says, yes, he does have to pay. He says the fact that the stuff got stolen is not the technician's fault. And the fact that it was completely out of his control means that it's as if he already returned the appliance and you just have to pay him. The kol shekain shela halacha anachnu poskim she'ein uman koina b'shavach kli, and this is certainly true because we paskin that when there's a discussion in the Gemara, I think perhaps the footnotes will give us the background. There's a discussion in halacha when I change an appliance, or let's say I'm fixing your chairs or whatever it is, and I make them now usable or better, I improve them. Have I then been kona because I've changed, I've altered the object? Has the artisan, because he fixed them, did he acquire them or not? And we paskin that he doesn't acquire them. And therefore the mixer still is the property of the owner. And as soon as the repair was completed, he now comes liable to pay for the repair. So let's take a look at the background information here.
So Rabbi, if the technician has made a statement that he becomes the shomer, he has to take responsibility for guarding it. And money exchanges because he's looking after it. Does he not then have to repay or rebuy give him the money, give the original owner the value of whatever that mixer is worth?
Well, look, it would seem, I mean, we have to take a look into the footnotes now, but it would seem that based on the first paragraph of this tshuva, if it was clear from the arrangement that I will not release this mixer until you pay for it, then you come pick it up, then I'm still a shomer sachar. It gets stolen, I become liable for geneva vaveda. I, the technician, I'm going to be liable, but I'm still entitled to be compensated the 180 shekel.
I understand.
So I would.
If the value of the
If the value of the mixer, it's let's say you have to look at the replacement value. Usually that's what you look at. You look at the replacement value, but you still get to deduct the 180 shekel. Yeah. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look at the footnote. Kavanas divrei Rabbeinu hagona mechaber shlitahi dehine biksuvas ikatrei lishni ha'im shomer mitchayev mishat mishicha or mishat pshia. So at what point is the shomer liable? Is he liable from the time that he takes possession of the item, or is he liable from the time that he is negligent in his guardianship? And there's a machlokes how we paskin. Ein mashakasav bezeh haktzos Choshen bahashta lefi ma de omar de hachiyav hu mishat meshicha. And we paskin that the liability is from the time that he takes possession. In other words, the shomer immediately, once he takes possession of the object, he is now obligated to return the object the way that he received it. But what we look at it is that if any mishap occurs for which he's going to be exempt, we look at it as if he's already returned the object. In other words, because I'm physically incapable of returning the object because it was stolen, then it's as if I've returned it. So, and the other opinion is that if I never really acquired it for myself, the shomer. It's not like I acquired it and now I have to return it. But if I never was negligent, it's as if I never acquired it at all, and therefore I never had any liability. So the Ktsos has a prolonged discussion on this very topic. So what relevance is that to our discussion today? He says, "V'kavanas Rabbeinu Kani dafilu ad the shomer mizchayev mishas meshicha." He says that the point that Rav Shirag is making here is that even if you're going to argue that the shomer is liable from the moment that he takes possession of it, it's as if now it's his and he has to return it. But once it gets stolen and it was beyond his control to stop it, so then it's as if he returned the mixer, the repaired mixer, and therefore the owner has to pay him for the repair. The kol shekain laman da'omer sheshomer mitchayev rak mishat pshia, im kein kan shelo hayta pshia, nimsa dahachefetz me'olam lo yatsa mirishus ha'ba'olim, de pikaron kol hecha de'isa b'rishus ba'olim hu, v'al kein chayavim ha'ba'olim l'shalim lo. And certainly if you hold that the mixer never left the ownership and the possession of the owner of the mixer, and the guy, when we say that he's watching it, it said, I'm watching something that is completely your property, and therefore it never left your possession. So therefore, and wherever that mixer is, it's yours. So then certainly the guy's going to have to pay for the repair. And all we're saying now is that it's just a question of how you look at the mixer. Do you look at the mixer as being now in the possession of the shomer, or is it always remaining in the possession of the owner of the appliance, and even though it's not on his premises? So it's a fine point, but it doesn't make a difference at the end of the day. The technician is entitled to be compensated for the repair that he did, or for the dry cleaning, or for whatever was done, as soon as the job is finished. Now, Rabbeinu, and it's ready for pickup, obviously. Now, the last point that he makes is Rabbeinu Hagon Shlita Pasakan Kemarin b'Shulchan Aruch She'ein Uman Koina b'Shevach Kli. That the Shulchan Aruch, like Rav Shiraga is saying, says that by repairing your appliance, I don't acquire your appliance. It's not like now it transfers into my possession. V'lachein hamixer nishar tamid b'rshus ba'alav. And therefore, the mixer always remains in the domain of the owner. It's shalom, and therefore the technician fixed your appliance. It's still considered in your possession, and therefore you have to pay him. But it's not so simple, because some say that as soon as the guy repairs the appliance, it now becomes his, in a sense, as far as certain halachic ramifications. Because of hashach shamda habisfeka dedina v'amotzi mecharvero olav haraya, and the shach says that we leave it to suffix, and therefore, if there's a dispute that involves monetary compensation, you have to bring proof. V'im kein lefi hashach yachal habolam liton kimli sheuman koina b'shevach kli. And therefore, according to the shach, perhaps you could argue that the customer could say, 1 second, as soon as you fixed the appliance, it became your appliance. And now you're sort of like, it's as if you're selling me back an appliance that used to be mine and now became yours. And therefore, if the appliance got stolen, it was your $180 investment in the appliance that was stolen, not mine. However, that's not the psak of the Shulchan Aruch. The psak of the Shulchan Aruch is that even with a repair of an appliance, that it fundamentally changed, whereas before it wasn't usable, and now it is usable. Yeah, right. Hey Siri, what is the most popular mixer to make dough for baking? Okay. These stand mixers knead bread dough with ease.
Rabbi Esther suggests it might be a Cuisinart or a KitchenAid.
KitchenAid.
That's the
Yeah,
brand. That's
yeah.
not. That's like saying.
So I looked up Mixmaster, and that is the brand for Sunbeam. So it's a product name for Sunbeam, and they all make different mixers, basically, or food processors.
Yeah,
That's what it says on Google.
I was thinking of the KitchenAid. I think I was thinking of the KitchenAid. Yeah, sorry.
That's a popular one.
Yeah,
in
yes.
California.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Doug.
Like this one shows.
So
Yeah.
if you take something and if somebody picks something up, I should say, part of the ownership is to pick it up and carry it on to the premises. So if you take it and give it to the person on the other side of the counter and they pick it up, put it on the shelf, haven't they then taken ownership of it?
Right, so
You
that's,
said
so,
it's not a key.
so that's the machlokas. It's a machlokas, but the Shulchan Aruch paskins at the end of the day that no, they haven't acquired it, that we look at it as it's all, wherever it is, it's in the possession of the customer. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
all wouldn't go over today here.
What do you mean?
If you give a store with a TV to fix.
Yeah.
The store is broken into. it's the play with that. You don't pay for the repair even if it was done.
Well, you might have the repair taken off the cost of whatever the replacement is.
I don't think you would go into the whole upfront with the IT.
Insurance
My-
would
my
insurance would
TV
just
my
replace it.
TV's
Insurance would
$1,000.
just say, here's
Right.
$500, here's $1,000.
Right, so practically speaking,
It's a
most
cultural.
stores have insurance policies, right? And the insurance will cover it. Okay,
You can't say at the end, we come, it was stolen, but I really, since I fixed it now, I'm a Shomer and that's not gonna happen at Joe's repair shop down the street.
yeah. All right, I mean, it's so rare to repair appliances anyway today, right? I mean, once an appliance breaks, you throw it out and buy a new one. All right, we'll hold it here for